There are many concrete ways to improve the directive. As sex worker representative of our communities, we have many concrete recommendations that we have already offered to the Commission, and we hope will be listened to and implemented. The first one is that it is not possible to develop any kind of policies without consulting and engaging the community. We know this for many sectors, whether it's public health in particular, that it is important to include marginalized communities such as sex workers in the development of the policy, but also in the implementation and the evaluation. And that means working with sex worker communities at all levels, from the local level, national level, European level. There are sex workers organizations or organizations that work closely with sex workers all across the European Union, and they need to be engaged with the different policymakers, with the different authorities at local, national, and European level. So another critical element is that we need better data on the extent of crime and violence against marginalized communities, such as sex workers. We know already that many undocumented migrants, many LGBT people, many sex workers do not report crime when it happens to them because they do not trust the justice system, or they do not trust the police in particular. So this creates a gap in data that leads that the policy that are created do not reflect the reality on the ground. So we know from our members, we know from our own research at ESWA that many sex workers do not report crime. And this needs to be changed so that we also have, so that all sex workers can access justice, but also that we have better data to create better policy in relation to victims' rights. Concretely, we also need legal aid for all victims, irregardless of their status. This must be simplified. We currently know that many sex workers will not engage in the process because of lack of funding, because they don't know how long the court processes are going to take. And this is very important. If we want all sex workers, all victims of crime to be able to access justice, there needs to be really strong support, really strong legal aid mechanism that covers all communities. For us, as part of a community that is heavily criminalized, we do also need to look at the relationship between the police and the justice system. So as I was mentioning, we know that in many cases, the police is the perpetrator of violence against sex workers. Or we know that when sex workers want to report crime to the police, they might face racism, transphobia. They might be afraid to be deported because they are migrants. And until this is changed, most marginalized communities will not be able to report crime and will not be able to access justice. So this is really critical for us and must be looked into. There must be better police accountability, and in particular, transparency with the involvement of communities. We need to have a frank dialogue that currently the system is not working for marginalized communities because of high levels of transphobia and racism and homophobia in the police in many European member states. Until this is changed, there will be little possible done to protect victims of crime in different communities. So as European Sex Workers Rights Alliance, we are calling for the decriminalization of sex work because we know this is critical to ensure that sex workers are less victims of crime and more able to report violence and crime to the police and the authorities. But there needs to be change at the European level and national level so that there is no more violence coming from the police, whether it's physical or sexual violence against sex workers, racism, transphobia, and that this system is fully changed.